list. Lazard will be out for tomorrow night's clash with the undefeated Cardinals. Adams still has a slight chance to play. Kind of strange, but Packers are actually 6-0 since 2019 when Adams has been out. Rodgers said Green Bay has, quote, just found a way to win when Adams has missed time. Cardinals defensive coordinator Vance Joseph still bracing for Rodgers' best. Take a listen to this.
I think those guys like, Aaron, Tom, those guys, when they don't have their main weapons, it falls back on those guys. And sometimes it helps them to play an even cleaner game. He's not forced to force the ball to Adams, and when you have a guy like Adams who's a volume, pass catcher, you can kind of trap him into throwing the ball to Adams some. But without Adam, it's going to force Aaron to play a true game, and that's sometimes dangerous for us, But he's played his best ball without Adams. And again, not having Adams is not good for them, but it's going to force Aaron to obviously, play a cleaner game. And history showed you he's played good.
So here are the numbers in those games Vance Joseph was talking about. Rodgers 6-0 with 17 touchdowns and just one pick without Adams. We got Greg Jennings joining us now. Greg, you know what life is like as Aaron Rodgers' wideout. 5 seasons together with Rodgers as the starter. Is there something to Rodgers being better without Davante Adams?
Well, I'm not going to go as far as saying he's better without Davante Adams, even though the stats would suggest that. But Van Joseph, he hit the nail on the head. When you are, as a quarterback, an elite quarterback at that, and you're forced to play without your guy, it allows you to play more honest, more open. And more than anything, I think when you look at the offensive coordinators in positions like this, and with it being Matt LaFleur, he's going to put them in a great position. I think he gets less credit than what he deserves in moments like this, because when Davante Adams was out the first game last year against the Saints, we saw Adam Lazard step up. However, they don't have Adam Lazard either this year, they shouldn't. And then we also saw the next game, Robert Tonyan step up. We saw them use their running backs a lot more. So what Van Joseph is alluding to is the quarterback being so smart. Now he's free to just play with progression. I'm going to take who I got, I'm still going to look at matchups, but I'm going to assess every situation a little differently now, because I don't have that go-to guy to where I just, like he said, Van Joseph, he's going to force with volume. And so it does make Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, the combination, even that much more scarier when you think about that, because now you're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and it's like, okay, we got to make him beat us. We know Aaron Jones in the running game is successful, and they've had success there. So with Aaron Rodgers, this is why he's been successful when he doesn't have his guys, because he understands how to go through progressions, use other guys to set up one another. And the scheme that Matt LaFleur puts together typically bodes well for the Green Bay Packers.
This sounds a little bit to me like a football version of, well, then why don't you make the entire plane out of the black box? Like, why don't you play all your games without Davante Adams? Well, because, yeah, I get the logic, kind of, but we all know it doesn't make sense. And by that, I mean, and I'm not talking about what Greg's saying, I'm talking about what Vance Joseph is alluding to. Like, he's actually more dangerous. To me, this is Vance Joseph trying to make sure his team doesn't do what some of those previous opponents and secondaries did do, which is say, oh, Davante's out, we're going to have an easier day. Make sure that they stay sharp and ready, because Rodgers is so good, he can make it work, especially on an individual game basis, even without a guy who some people believe is the best receiver in the NFL. But I think where the number one receiver, and Greg can obviously speak to this better than me, so Greg, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think I am, where he's most valuable is on the gotta-have-it moments. It's 3rd and 6. We have to move the sticks. You want your guy Broussard, I would say, you want your guy out there for 2 reasons. One is you trust him the most, and the other is The defense is the most afraid of him. So even if you're not going to him, you're going to have a good number count elsewhere because he's the guy that's going to be getting doubled. So, yeah, I don't think there is a way to twist this or to make me convinced that in their toughest game of the year up to this point, the Packers are at anything other than a disadvantage not having their second most talented offensive player, Broussard.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree with that. You need Devontae Adams. You're not better without him. But the point is true that Aaron Rodgers is forced to focus more. You can, whenever you have a great player, you can use that player as a crutch. And now he's got to be more thorough in going through his progressions. He knows he has to be even more accurate than when you got Devontae. So you just have to be a little more focused when you don't have that great receiver there. And Nick, here's the thing. It can work, and what Vance Joseph was saying can be true for a game or two here or there, but not for an entire season, and that's the difference. Yeah, here and there, he can be better, but over the long haul, no way. I also think, and I don't think this was Vance's intention, but it won't work, but it could throw out there a little doubt. He's trying, maybe that could be a little doubt with Devontae, with Aaron. He's saying they're better without me. He's saying they don't need me. I don't think it's going to work, but you toss it out there and, sow a little discord in one of your rivals or challengers in the NFC. There's nothing wrong with that, Wilds.
Stir the pot
I
when
agree.
you can
But we're
stir
gonna
the
go to
pot,
break.
right?
Yeah.
Well, puts me in a tough spot because yes, we're supposed to, but I would like to hear what you had to say about it. We got Saints All-Pro linebacker Demario Davis joining the show. 4-2 Saints welcoming Tom Brady and the 6-1 Bucs to town on Sunday. Talk about the big game with Demario next. First things first. You can tell us in the break, Wilds.
This Big Noon Saturday on